If you clicked to watch this video, you've probably experienced a business failure or you're about to experience one. So now we are coming up with a series that we are going to be labeling a reparation series. In this series, we are going to be covering the reason why you are failing in a particular business and solutions to them. So this video specifically concerns those who are about to close their businesses or those who haven't given up yet and are trying to revive their businesses. And it is as well perfect for those who haven't embarked on their business yet, who now have the opportunity to learn from others' mistakes and carry on with their business properly. And for today, we are going to be talking about the beauty industry or the beauty institute. This has to do with people who are involved in the salon business, who own barbing studios, nail bars, that is manicure, pedicure, spas, hammams, and facials. So I am going straight away to identifying what you are doing wrong and how to solve them. My mission on this channel is to make sure that you attain your financial independence as soon as possible. I am Elvin Chick, and without wasting much of your time, let's get started. So here's the first mistake a lot of people do: opening a beauty institute without having any skills. Some people just feel that because they've got the money or they love a particular business, let's say nail bar or a salon business, they just go ahead to invest in such businesses without necessarily having the skills. You know, nowadays we encourage people to set up businesses without necessarily having those skills and encouraging them to at times sort out those skills if they can. But the thing is, this doesn't apply to all businesses. Businesses that have to do with skincare or beauty as a whole are very delicate. And in such businesses, I wouldn't advise you go in for them if you don't have any skill at all. You mustn't master everything, all right? But there's a minimum of things you actually need to know before venturing into such businesses. This is because it isn't safe for you to set up a business and get it run completely by others. You know, when someone is running a business that is not necessarily theirs or of which they have no personal interest, most times it's difficult for that person to give in their all or their 100%. And in beauty institutes, a lot of pampering and efficient customer care is needed. So if you aren't there present to do some of the chores yourself or to make sure that you are controlling everything, there are high chances that your business might fail. You can start up a salon business, for example, where you don't master how to install wigs, how much it costs to install wigs, or the different prices of nail art according to the length of the nails or the nature of the nails. So basically, there are things you need to be mastering in order for your business to function properly. Just having the money and investing in the business and just sitting at home and waiting to cash out at the end of the month is often a dangerous move when it comes to beauty institute. So the second mistake people and a lot of people do is neglect their workers' appearance. And when we talk of neglecting their workers' appearance, we are not talking here of cleanliness alone, okay? We are talking here of other things that have a lot of impact because they actually affect your brand. And this is something I've observed and noticed in a couple of beauty institutes. How do you explain the fact that you are doing facials and encouraging customers or inviting customers to come and get their facials done at your institute when your own workers, that is the girl in question who is going to be doing the facials, has carbuncles on her face? That doesn't make sense, okay? No bashing intended. I don't mean to hurt anyone. I am just being objective and realistic right now. How can someone with acne-prone face be treating someone's face? It doesn't make sense, all right? You would rather go for someone who has a smooth face already to show as evidence or as more convincing factors for your customers to actually come and do their facials in your place. So I don't get it when people employ or maintain workers who don't physically represent what their brand is selling out. This goes the same with a lot of things. You can be having a salon and your girls are having unkempt hair, their hair flying all over the place, they aren't looking neat, old hairdos or cheap hair. Let me explain. You can't be claiming to install wigs and I come to your place 1, 2, 3 times and I don't see any girl putting on a wig at your business place. That doesn't make sense, all right? You can't be selling sleek bone straight hair and we never see a bone straight hair on your worker. It doesn't make sense. Use your workers as your models to showcase what you are doing or what you are selling. That's a big business strategy that people neglect a lot. And the main people I've seen making good use of this strategy strategy is actually people involved in skincare. People sell body lotions, body cream. They would go for someone who has that complexion they want already or the skin they want already to promote their product for them. I'm not in any way encouraging bleaching, all right? Let's get that straight. I'm just using that as an illustration for my message to get across. So, like I was saying, for those who sell, for example, bleaching products, they are going to most likely get a fair skin girl already or bleach the girl's skin for the purpose of their business because their workers need to reflect the products they are talking about. And that's why you are going to notice that most women who sell bleaching products actually bleach themselves because from their appearance, someone should be capable of telling how much their product works. So that should be applied in any beauty institute. If you are doing facials, you've got a spa where you take care of people's skin, it should reflect on your skin as the owner, but not only on your skin. Go ahead and make sure that reflects on your workers as well, because the worker whose appearance doesn't reflect the product you are selling is counterproductive and is going to negatively impact your brand. I remember while being in the university, I used to make wigs, my wigs, alright? And I remember one day that I sold a wig basically from my hair to the customer's hair. That was actually one of my friends. She actually admired the wig, the way it laid on me seamlessly and so beautiful that she really wanted it so much so that the offer was irresistible and I had to take it off from my head and sell it straight to her. That was crazy, right? That's something I did back then. It's obvious I can't do that right now, but that's something I did back then because I really needed the money. And thinking about it right now, that just makes me understand much more the power of using your product on yourself or using yourself as a model to showcase your product. And another good example to illustrate this is using your sales girl or employee as a model or an example, right? If she has an acne prone face, you could treat the face, for example, and get photos of her before and after state and showcase them to your customers or exhibit them at your salon for people to see what your products can do. This reminds me of this classmate that I met some months ago, and she was like, "Oh, Elvin, what can you advise me to apply on my body because I am a couple of months postpartum right now and I don't love the way my skin is looking, and you are postpartum as well but your skin is popping. Oh, please, can you advise me something to use?" At the time, I was using some vitamin E and vitamin C. I talked to her about those vitamins and that I got them from my aunt-in-law, and she got interested right away. And once we got there, she noticed collagen supplements on the table and she was like, "What about these? What could they do to my body?" Because she was really desperate for a solution. And the aunt-in-law was like, "Yeah, collagen supplements are very good for you. Are you 35 already?" And she said yes. And the aunt was like, "Yeah, this will be good for you." And the aunt went ahead to get her mom's pics from her phone and showed to her, explaining that her mom had been using that for over 5 years now. And behold, to be honest, her mom's skin was glowing and popping. That mom was so fresh, so much so that you couldn't believe that she was the one who had given birth to this lady we are talking about. So that alone was a big convincing factor that my friend considered and decided to buy that supplement immediately. And she went ahead and got 2 packs at the same time because she was so interested, so much so that she was scared of running out of them and coming back to find out that they were sold out. So that's just to tell you the power of people seeing the results of your products. So as a business owner, please do better, all right? Don't behave like carpenters in Cameroon. Yeah, in Cameroon, carpenters are said to never have beautiful chairs or sofas in their homes, all right? And we've never understood that till then. So let's put it this way. Your workers not reflecting your product is just like, let's say, a pastor preaching against alcohol and you find them later on drinking alcohol. Do you know that feeling? So please, dear bosses, endeavor to spend a little bit or an extra something on your employees to reflect your product or your brand. So the next thing I've noticed with a lot of business people, especially in the business institute, is the lack of innovation. Yes, a lot of people get comfortable with their situation and don't learn or acquire new skills. In any business sector, it's advisable to keep learning the new skills that are coming up or the new styles or trends, okay? Stay on top of trends. You can't be in a beauty institute and you don't upgrade yourself, because that's the highest sector that keeps having new trends, new hairstyles or new nail styles or models or lengths as the years go by. In the beauty industry, at times what is trending right now might not be in fashion in 5 months or 1 year later. So you need to keep updating yourself, keep innovating, even at the level of gadgets or appliances, buying new ones, buying the latest versions, because everyone loves to get to a salon and get treated with the recent equipment or technologies. Let's take for instance eyebrows. Most people now go for microblading or micro shading. You can't be at this stage in your beauty institute and you don't practice microblading or micro shading. You can't be using pencil or razor at this stage in time. Follow the people that are in your niche in order to always become the best of yourself. You can do that on YouTube. If you are in the hair industry, you can subscribe and watch channels that keep upgrading new hairstyles and new trends, because that's the highest way you can stay updated and get updated before others, because it's also an advantage for you to be ahead of your competitors. So I would advise you to distinguish yourself in your business, and the best way to do that is to specialize in a particular thing. If you are doing hair, specialize in a particular hair too. This is because once people know that you are so good at what you do, they would likely think of you when they want that thing done. Try to be known for something in your industry. Let's take, for example, locks. We have the natural locks, the faux locks or fake locks. We have the nappy hair that's trending and very popular right now. We have lace wig installs, laying of frontals seamlessly. We have box braids, knotless braids. In fact, just be the best at what you do. You could opt to be maybe the queen of braids. Yeah, in your area, if you are known to be the queen of box braids, whenever someone wants box braids done or someone is looking for referrals, your name is always going to be popping up, and that's how you can get leverage over your competitors. So basically, identify what you are good at, what you do best, and make your signature on it. The faster you upgrade yourself, the more you're going to have an advantage over your competitors. And by that I mean avoid being comfortable in conformity. That's what destroys a lot of businesses out here, right? People often get comfortable in what everyone else is doing. Always struggle to get above average, because for you to really succeed in life, you need to get beyond the average person. So if in your industry people are getting to this level, always make sure you get to this level in order for you to be successful. Let's stay away from mediocrity. No, that's not our position. The next thing I would love to talk about is something that is very important, and I chose to put it at this level of this video because I want my most loyal subscribers to grab this point, for this is one of the main keys to success, not only in the beauty institute but in any business you venture in life. And this doesn't apply to Africa alone, this applies to anywhere across the globe, and it is all about respecting your workers. Most times, a lot of you bosses always forget that your workers are human beings just as you. The fact that they are working for you doesn't make them less of human beings. Some of you go to the extent of thinking that you are doing them a favor by paying them. No, you aren't doing them a favor. And if we have to look at it critically, they are the ones doing you a favor, because they are the ones helping you to achieve your dream. They are the ones helping you to make the money you are making in that business of yours. So this goes to say, respect and care for your workers. If you care for your workers, there's no way you are going to do what a lot of bosses do, which is the non-respect of paydays. And let me tell you something, the more you care about your workers' welfare, the more loyal they are going to be to you, and the more committed they are going to be to your business. And let me also draw your attention to something. Most of your workers fall under the category of low-income earners. And most times for such people, salary is everything they depend on. That's what they basically depend on for survival. That's what they depend on to get food on their table, to pay their kids' school fees, to pay the transport fare to come to your workplace, to cater for their basic needs. So when you delay with their salaries, you are actually hurting not that worker alone, but their family as a whole. So please take your workers' payday personally. I always advise people to get contracts signed because a contract protects both parties. And that's why I always advise people that even if your structure comprises of both low income earners and high income earners, always endeavor to take care of your low income earners first. That's in case of unforeseen circumstance or a delay in revenue. So that's to say, if for whatever reason you had a delay in the income you used to pay your workers, please think of the low-income earners first. High-income earners at times could have some savings that could help them survive for the meantime, but most times the low-income earners need that salary for everything. Think of it this way. You're not paying a high-income earner on time. You are maybe just delaying their kids' school fees or a certain fee they were going to be paying somewhere or rent, but you failing to pay a low-income earner on time, you are basically starving innocent kids and probably depriving them from basic needs. So please, if you were such a boss, next time before doing such a thing, think of what I just told you today. Now, if you found value in this video so far, endeavor to like this video and share it with your loved ones, because I would really love a lot of people, if not the whole of Africa, to be aware of such things in order for us to collectively, intentionally change and make Africa great. Now, the next thing I've noticed a lot of bosses do in their beauty institute or any other business place is changing workers like clothes. You can't have a successful business if you don't have stability. You know, in order to succeed in any business, you need to be consistent. Consistency is always the key. We all know that in any business, you need to be consistent with your supply of products. For example, that's the same thing with your workers, all right? You need to have consistency at the level of workers. You need that stability for your business to thrive. You can have a business structure wherein workers keep coming in and out. Every day when customers come, they see new workers. The first thing is that it is a turn off to certain customers because that shows already that you don't have a good relationship with your workers, and that goes a lot to talk about your brand or to tarnish your image. And remember that for your business to be a success, you need to be getting returning clients. And people won't be returning if they aren't noticing a conducive atmosphere. And even if they return and keep seeing new faces, imagine they loving to work with a certain employee called Sandra. And by the time they are getting acquainted to Sandra and they come next time, they see Mirabel. And after some time, they are coming back to meet Chloe. There's no way they are going to be comfortable in such an environment, all right? There's this weird feeling or this weird vibe that such an environment gives to customers that you as the business owner might not necessarily be aware. And always remember that you can't grow a business without customers' loyalty. You need to get loyal customers in order to succeed in your business. You need to as well have loyal workers. So you should make sure that one of your top priorities is to have loyal workers. And the only way you can do that is by treating them well. You should be capable of working with a certain crew of workers for years, let's say 3 to 5 years. So much so that you guys become like basically a family. When you've created such a bond with your workers that they feel like they are part of the family, I mean the business family, they are going to be very loyal to you. And to achieve that, you need to be nice and so considerate with your workers. Reward those who work very well and often give them compliments where they are due. Boost them with tips from time to time. When they need a 2 or 3 day leave to spend some time with their family for 1 or 2 reasons, grant it to them. Make sure that they feel appreciated and respected in your structure. That's how they are going to be loyal to you. I remember years back when my hubby was still working for a certain company. Over the years, he developed a so good relationship with his boss, so much so that there's this new company that came to town and wanted to hire him and was even offering something more than 2 times what his then company was paying him by then, but he had to turn down the offer just because he told me that he doesn't see himself betraying his boss, because for him, leaving that boss to go and work for the other company, which was a strong competitor coming into town, he felt like betraying his boss. And for that alone, he had to turn down the offer. Despite the fact that that company even told him that they were going to be giving him 3 months for him to think again and give them his definite answer. But he told me that his mind is made up, that he isn't going to be leaving his actual company. So you can imagine how treating your workers well could go a long way to get that loyalty you need from them. I also remember this story related to me by a friend of mine who used to work in a certain restaurant. And one day we went to have some lunch at their restaurant, and I noticed this aged lady who was the manager of the place. And I got curious and just decided to know more about her. And the story I got shocked me. That lady was in her early 50s, but had been working there for over 15 years. I was curious to know why she stayed there for so long and had been so loyal to her boss. And do you know what my friend told me? He told me that she had been the best cook so far that restaurant had ever had. And her boss would go to any extent to maintain her there, up to the extent of paying for her kids' school fees, which wasn't part of her salary. That is, her boss would assure that her kids' school fees are paid. And mind you, her kids were not attending regular schools, okay? They were actually going to private schools that were very expensive. But her boss would go an extra mile to secure that part of the load for her in order for her to feel the burden lighter and feel special. This cook actually built a house in her own hometown and wanted to relocate, but her boss would beg and make her stay. That's how by that time she had worked for over 15 years in that restaurant already. And while getting that story, I was actually sitting right there savoring her delicacy. That woman was actually good at what she did. And that alone made me understand why her boss would go to any extent to maintain her there. That just goes to say that in whatever thing you do in life, do it more than average. Always strive to excel or be the best in what you are doing. She was the best in what she was doing, and her boss saw her like an asset that she couldn't let go of. And that's why her boss would go an extra mile to also please her in return. So you see that they came up with what we call in Africa, scratch my back and I scratch yours relationship. And once you have such a relationship with your workers, there's no way you are not going to be succeeding in your business. Now let's go to the next point, which is something I talked about in my previous video where I was talking to you about what you should do in order to succeed in business in Africa. And we are talking about the customer service. I can't emphasize on this enough. Good customer service should be your top priority, because if your customer service is poor, you are not going to be having returning clients. And a business without returning clients is doomed to fail. And when we talk of customer service here, it is so broad that I can't cover it enough in this video. And I assume that you might have watched my other video, or you go and watch it right away after this. But what I am going to be saying here, in addition to what I said in my previous video, is have a good listening ear. Aside from making sure you have a good customer service or your workers treat your clients good, make sure that you and your workers have a good listening ear. Listen to the customer. Pay attention to the customer's needs, okay? When we talk of customer satisfaction, we aren't talking of doing a perfect job according to you, because that's where a lot of people go wrong. They think that you as an expert doing the best you can do means you've delivered the best to the customer or you've satisfied the customer. No, you haven't. You've satisfied a customer when a customer leaves your place happy with the results. So everything has to do with the results. And for you to get the results the customer desires, you need to listen to the customer. Let me take a practical example. Imagine an aged lady, let's say a lady of about 50 years, yes, a lady in her 50s gets into your salon and she wants, let's say, a bob wig or a bob hairstyle, which is what most women of her age would prefer. A bob wig, which is here shorter and curved. Yeah, she wants a bob wig with a straight line. And you, since you are the expert, you want to do what you think is best for her face or what is trending. I know that as a professional hairdresser, you've been trained to recommend hairstyles that suit the facial structure of a customer. Yes, I get that. But at the same time, you should prioritize what that customer really wants. This woman came into your salon. She has a specific hairstyle that she wants already. She is not confused. She definitely wants that hairstyle. As a good professional hairdresser and a business person who has the customer satisfaction as her prime motive, you are not going to be doing what you want on that lady. You are simply going to propose what you think will suit her best. But at the end of it, if she doesn't go for it, don't force her. Let her have a final say. Imagine this aged lady wanting bob hairstyle and she ends up having, let's say, a ponytail because according to you, that's what's trending, or according to you, ponytail will suit her face better. That woman is going to leave your salon. She might not tell you because not everyone is expressive. She would be leaving your salon not satisfied at all, and she would probably never return. And according to you, you are going to think that you've done something good as a professional because you've done something that suits her face. But the truth is, you've just lost one customer and probably others, because a satisfied customer is going to refer you to others and you are going to be having more customers. So you've probably lost not only one customer, but other potential customers. So that goes to say, as a good business person who wants to make those millions we are talking about on this channel, you should take your customer service seriously. And on that note, I am going to be proposing to you that you go and watch this video where I gave you strategies and all the tips and tricks you could apply to make your business a success in Africa. And that said, thanks for watching this video, as I will see you in the next one.